Hi friends, welcome to the Shits and Gigs podcast where we keep the vibe high, the humor gets raunchy, and things get spicy when we talk about food. I'm your host Meg Davis, and we're here tonight for an episode of Bath Bombz. We're going to dive into something interesting tonight. I had heard online that there was potential to have more of a risk of getting sunburn if you're wearing your sunglasses. And I have been pondering this for weeks. I haven't had a chance to deep dive, but this week I was like, you know what? I'm going to get to the bottom of this and we're going to see what the facts are. And there's a lot of mixed media, I guess you could say, because obviously there's a huge market for sunglasses. If you really think about it, it's interesting to think about, why do we have sunglasses? Or what was the first reason for getting a pair of sunglasses? And for me, it's just kind of because everyone else had them. It wasn't, there's a common thing. It's that increased exposure to sunlight or too much exposure to sunlight or direct sunlight can cause eye problems. But what if we just taught our kids to not look at the sun? Because it's not like people back in the day had sunglasses before they were a thing, and they're a semi-recent thing as far as our entire evolution goes. So I wonder why it's become such a thing. Maybe because it was a huge moneymaker when it first came out, because everyone wanted to protect their eyes. Because I believe there are also studies that do show, obviously if you look at the sun and you have that exposure, being in the sun. So, for example, I think sunglasses are necessary for, baseball players. Because when you're out in the field and you're looking up in the sky trying to catch the ball, you're looking into the sun sometimes. So things like that, your eyes are at risk of that unhealthy exposure. However, I actually really enjoy gardening without sunglasses because I find that I can spot more easily because there's no glare, and I don't know, things are just more crisp without my sunglasses. So there are certain things, not to be TMI or gross, but when I pick up my dog's poop in the yard, no sunglasses. I cannot spot shit when I wear my sunglasses. So, actually, pun intended, look at me go. That's a corny little thing for me. I am terrible at puns, but when I get one, they're usually pretty good. So yeah, it's very interesting to think about. So let's dive into it. About how you potentially have an increased chance of sunburn while wearing sunglasses. So let's talk about the benefits of wearing No Sunnies outside. Okay, after doing a little bit of research, I didn't completely deep dive, but some superficial research that my toddler mom life allowed. Studies suggest that not wearing sunglasses can potentially enhance the skin's natural photo protection. And photo, fun little science geek fact that, and not the root, maybe the root of the word, or that first part of the word, photo, when attached to something, often means light. So photograph, I'm pretty sure, is light graph, meaning it captured light. Or photosynthesis has to do with sunlight and things of that nature. So, very interesting fact. So our natural photo protection is enhanced not wearing sunglasses. So meaning our body's ability to protect from light. Photo protection. I love breaking down words. That was one of my favorite parts of learning language in college, was breaking down the root of words. It was for mainly anatomy, for learning words of different body parts and stuff. Learning those Greek roots and were so helpful, and it's very interesting to just re-look at your vocabulary once you know that knowledge. It's very cool. I definitely recommend looking into that if that's something that intrigued your interest. All right, let's get focused. It enhances the skin's natural photoprotection mechanisms, which also promotes the release of nitric oxide, which has numerous health advantages that include decrease in blood pressure, increase in immunity functioning, and wound healing, which is very interesting. So essentially, our natural exposure to sunlight, not looking directly at the sun, but being outside in sunlight, the vitamin D and all the things that come along with that our body absorbs is then triggering these little photosensitive cells in our eyeballs and our retina. And that kind of like activation of those cells triggers that nitric oxide release, which then is a domino effect to so many different things in our body. It's like a chemical reaction, I guess you could just compare it to. And it honestly doesn't surprise me that we end up with some kind of consequence from modifying a body function. So essentially wearing sunglasses is limiting the body's ability to activate those cells and like know what that is. And a body in motion stays in motion. So similarly to if you just are sitting on a couch all day and your muscle atrophies because it's not being worked, it's very similar for these cells. So they were mentioning that if you are one of the people that walk outside and like instantly kind of like are faced with that glariness and you throw the sunny, you like instantly reach for those sunnies, they could not come fast enough, then your eyes are most likely adapted to artificial light, which is loaded with a bunch of blue light, which is similar to our computers and all the screens that we're on. And that's why wearing blue light sunglasses, or not sunglasses, but blue light glasses while you're doing screen time is often very helpful, because we're just exposed to that artificial light so much. It's like kind of deteriorating the ability and functioning of our normal eye. So definitely worth looking into some eye care if you feel like you have a lot of headaches or you feel like you're straining your eyes a lot. Definitely a cool thing to dive into from yourself and consider what ways you can be showing up differently for your eyeballs. Your eyeballs. All right. Ooh, I have more sciencey facts. I kind of just riffed off of the brain there as far as the process of everything. But to dive further, for all my science nerdies out there, so I already said sunlight, your eyeball, the photosensitive cells in your retina, then activate. They said, interestingly, I liked the wording. I thought it was very interesting, the wording, because it just helped me understand maybe potentially the functioning of the eye better. But it says that the sun activates these photosensitive cells in the retina, which then beam directly to the pituitary gland. And under direction of the hypothalamus, this then stimulates these cells, and they play a vital role in optimizing the physiology and health of your whole body. So it's just so crazy. I think that's why. So fun fact, I actually went to school. I went to college, Assumption, in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I got my bachelor's degree in human services, and I minored in speech pathology. And it just really intrigued me to learn how we operate as far as speech and language go, and the anatomy of language and breathing and all of these different skills that are so crucial to our functioning day to day. But it's just so interesting to see how just exposing our eyes to this natural sunlight that's readily available to us impacts our body's functioning. And then we just go and friggin' throw some sunnies on because they look cool, and it's almost impeding our like fullest potential. So very cool info. Feel free to fact check yourself. I will tag the articles that I had read for my facts, so you can dive into them too, because it really is interesting to read, and like I said, just learn about how our body operates. And so by embracing no sunnies outside, it is said that based on these studies, it can affect your internal circadian rhythm. So if you're having trouble sleeping, this could be an interesting observation for you. Intestinal function apparently is also impacted, which I thought was very interesting. And then it said it would also have positive effects on decreasing depression. So very interesting. So if you feel like you, again, walk outside and like you instantly reach for those sunnies, it might be cool to start like microdosing your eyes outside without sunnies and see what happens and see how it impacts your body. Definitely comment below if you give it a try and you experience anything different. I would love to hear some feedback. And yeah, definitely click the whole article and check it out yourself. Super interesting topic. And it also got me wondering, like, what other modifications am I using that is impeding my natural body function? So very interesting question to ask yourself as well. Like, what are we doing that could be limiting my potential again? I've been on this huge kick of embracing my full potential because I feel like I'm in just a super aligned state right now. Life is crazy, but it's crazy in a synergetic way. It just feels really aligned and on purpose. So I'm just excited and curious to see where everything's going. But while being in that state, like living to my fullest potential, like how am I being my fullest self or showing up for this body that I've been gifted for this one life? You know what I mean? So although my health routine isn't perfect right now, it's not ideal or what I envision for myself in the long term, I feel really proud of how I'm showing up every single day for my body, especially with my morning routine, with the push-ups and everything. So yeah, ask yourself, what other modifications could you be embracing that could be impeding your optimal functioning, your natural functioning? Let's wrap this baby up with our mocktail of the week. We have our Lavender Lemon Lush. This is a throwback recipe, and I'm going to bring it back this week by word of mouth at the club when I'm working. It's a super refreshing, super light and caffeine-free mocktail. It's just so yum, and it's so basic. And this is the boosted version. Actually, I'm going to throw the lift off in there because I love it that way. So you're going to start with the lemon lime lift off. If you want to do caffeine free, you can skip that part. And then you're going to do 1 scoop of the strawberry lemonade collagen and half a teaspoon of the lavender lemonade drink mix, which is boosted with vitamin C. These are all Herbalife products. I've been partnered with Herbalife for over 8 years, and they continually fine-tune ingredients and launch things that are aligned with just living your best life, and I absolutely love it. If you want to try this mocktail at home, hit me up on Instagram at megdavis.healthcoach. And if you want to come in person, I'm at Elevated twice a week, but we're open 6 days a week. Monday through Friday, we're there 6:30 to 2:30. And then on Saturdays, we're there 8 to 1. I'll be there Saturday this week if you want to pop on by. Thanks for tuning in. Toodles.